Now we're going to the product announcement, both from open source and enterprise. And with that note, please welcome on stage my friend, co-founder and CTO, Marco Palladino.
That's a vibe. She wanna vibe. That's
Hey,
a
yo, man.
vibe.
That's it.
That's a vibe. It's a vibe. That's a vibe.
This is just amazing. Not even in my wildest dreams, I would have think we would have come so far. This is our summit, it's our party, the community. There is no open source without a community. And I'm proud to say that since 2015, when we first publicly announced Kong, community has been the driver for this product. There's many of us, we're global, we're distributed from all over the world. Latin America, North America, Europe, Asia, all over. And I am proud to say that community is our DNA, the DNA of Kong. It's what drives us. That's why I would like to take this chance to thank all the contributors around the world for making this project an amazing project. We built this together, and this is our party. With over 100 core contributors, thousands of community members, meetups all over the world talking about Kong, of people using Kong, I'm really proud to say that this is a great community. Kong is the result of many thousand hours that lots of individuals and organizations have put together to make this work. It's a community effort. Since 2015, Kong had tremendous growth. Over 45 million downloads and 72,000 instances of Kong running every day per day. Tremendous growth. The Kong Summit, it's a place for us to be together, but of course, it's also a place for us to do some announcements. So I'll start by doing the first one. Over a year ago, when we first launched our enterprise package, we introduced the Kong Community Edition and Kong Enterprise Edition terminology. After 1 year, that gave the impression that we had two different runtimes. But we know it's not true. So moving forward, there is no Community Edition. There is only Kong. There is Kong, and then there is our enterprise package, Kong Enterprise. This is a place where we, as Kong users, I recognize a few of you in the audience, Kong customers, where we, as industry experts, we can gather together for a couple of days and make our community stronger, talk about industry trends, and ultimately execute on the vision of the world that we all share. That's why right now, I would like to invite on stage one of those people who helped build Kong and helped execute against this vision. I'd like to invite on stage Marcelo da Cruz Pinto from McAfee. Thanks for being here, Marcelo.
Is this on? Yeah, it is. So we started using Kong about 3 years ago. It's been an amazing journey so far. The Kong open source community, the industry adopters, many of whom are here today with us, and the Kong technical leadership, just simply amazing. Just thrilled to be a small part of this community. So my team at McAfee is focused on solving the problem of the Security Operations Centers, or SOC for short. These are teams of cybersecurity experts working within companies, defending or protecting its digital assets. So a Security Operations Center, they come in different shapes and forms. This is just an example you see here. There's tons of dashboards, workstations for the security experts to work and do their job, and it's a highly collaborative environment. But the thing is, the problem is, there is too much data for them to process. So these security analysts, they have to sift through tons of data and alerts on a daily basis. It can be overwhelming. They get what we call in the industry alert fatigue. So they have to find the needle in a haystack to defend these digital assets. The time of these security experts is really invaluable. So the question is, how can we make more efficient use of their time? How can we help them detect these attacks faster? So the approach we took in McAfee is using artificial intelligence and human-machine teaming, which is basically taking the human expert and putting him in the artificial intelligence loop. That gives us the best of both worlds. So we get the human expertise, the intuition and creativity, and the ability of the machine to gather and summarize and process data way more fast than a human can ever do. And this creates a virtuous cycle that strengthens over time, basically having this human and machine working together towards a common goal. So in order to materialize this, we had to make certain architectural decisions. So we had to move fast. Attackers, they don't stay still, they move really fast. It only takes one successful attack for them to achieve their objective. Security analyst has to protect against all of them to be successful. So we have to move fast, and so we decided to embrace microservices and DevOps, right? So that will empower our engineering teams to be able to move fast. But the problem is, we knew how to do API management on the monolith up there. So that was something we knew how to do. But when we blew up the monolith and get just a bunch of pebbles, how do we do that? How do we do API management on that environment? And the thing that was most concerning for us was, how do we maintain a set of cohesive APIs across these small pebbles? Like, make it look that you still have a single service, not a bunch of disparate services, and that's it. And that's how we came across Kong 3 years ago. Right? It was, I think, version 0.7 or 0.8 or something like that. It was early days. And we discovered this amazing community, simply amazing community. It's just incredible, outstanding. And yeah, that's it. And honestly, none of the classic API management solutions was really a perfect fit for us. So on the other hand, Kong was granular enough to scale with our services. So grow with our services, it will move along with our services. It is microservices native, so it was created for microservices from the ground up, not just getting a monolithic solution and just trying to fix it for it to be perfect for microservices. And it's so lightweight that it allows our engineering teams to create hundreds of tiny environments for system and component test with every branch that we build on our continuous integration system. Just create and destroy environments with Kong in it every single time, which is something that would be unthinkable with a monolithic approach. There's no way you can scale that. So today we have roughly 30 microservices per environment. We actually did this test 3 years ago. We said, hey, can we really trust Kong? I mean, what happens with this? Can we just really put this workload here? And we just took it for a ride. And we managed to scale it to 100 nodes in Amazon. And then we just decided to stop. It was enough. It was like something like 80,000 transactions per second. But that's way more than we would ever need. That's for sure. And today we run something more like 4 millions of requests a week and growing. And that's just simply amazing. And the end result is McAfee Investigator. So this is the UI. All the data you see here, everything, it's an API. So everything's managed by Kong with the authentication plugins, login plugins, statistics plugins. Even we build our own plugin with the help of the community. And this allows the analysts to basically, instead of having to look to 500 items, they only have to look at 17 on this UI. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcelo. Marcelo, over the years, opened up several pull requests for Kong. He was, and he still is, a heavy contributor of the project. So thank you. I would like to now invite on stage Thibault Charbonnier, principal engineer at Kong and co-creator of Kong.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you. Hello, everybody. And thank you so much for being here today. Thank you. I am feeling very humbled by your presence, and I think we all are. We have a lot of things to show you today. Over the course of 3 years, Kong went through 47 releases. That's about 1 release per month. This sort of fast-paced release cycle, but somewhat controlled, was always driven by the feedback from our users and our customers. We incorporated their feedback and also their contributions. It's really amazing. Like, we had an open source project that people were using in mission critical use cases and even contributing to, users and even customers. So, some of you may know the history of Kong already. Kong was first released in 2015, publicly. Like Augusto said, Kong came out of the heart of the Meshape API marketplace. Kong was the underlying technology powering HTTP requests between HTTP API providers and consumers. You notice that very early on this timeline, we incorporated a change in Kong when we made it public that would turn out to be a key feature, our plugin-based architecture. We had the vision very early of nurturing an ecosystem of plugins and integrations around Kong. This single feature turned out to be a key factor in the early adoption of Kong. We believe it is one of the reasons for the reason the community grew the way it did and the adoption. And as time went by, we had more and more a more complete feature set. And eventually, Kong started being adopted by large organizations. Large organizations, which in turn turned out to become our first enterprise customers. And those enterprise customers helped us a lot. We helped them with Kong, but they helped us, making Kong more mature. By using Kong in more and more mission-critical use cases, and by contributing back to Kong. It was a great way to make Kong grow towards product maturity. And more recently, we started executing on our earliest visions about a platform that supports your infrastructure, the service control platform. So, looking back, we can identify 3 distinct eras for Kong. Early, the architecturing of a product capable of global adoption. Then a second era where our first customers started arriving, and Kong grew towards product maturity, hardening. And third and last era, which started more recently, our work towards integrating with the cloud-native ecosystem and executing on our vision of the service control platform.
Well, Thibault, sorry to interrupt you. You might perhaps forgetting one era that happens prior to all of these eras. You remember that? The basement era.
Yeah. You want to talk about that? No.
Kong literally comes from underground, literally.
Lots of evenings. You know, you can see the Mashape banner back there. It really came out from what used to be Mashape, the marketplace. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kong coming from the marketplace days, from another product, where API consumers and providers, were making all of these requests, and Kong was the underlying technology, powering all of this, right? And so when in 2015 we decided to open source it, we locked ourselves into the basement to polish the code base. When you open source your code base, you kind of want to polish it before. And so in the basement, we've been working many days, as you can tell, without leaving the basement, actually, sleeping in the basement, literally.
Uh-huh.
And then releasing Kong in 2015.
And the first time we started seeing usage, receiving pull requests, just amazing.
I remember that day.
Yeah.
Somebody's using us. Somebody's using us, right? That was crazy.
I remember the first pull request, like, yay, open source, go. Yeah. What
All
a
right.
story. Yeah.
Over, since the basement days, over the years, Kong has achieved very, very important milestones. 3 milestones. Important for any product, especially open source out there. Kong, most importantly, built up feature maturity that has been running in mission-critical production use cases across every industry over the past 3 years. Individual users running Kong, but also large organizations, top Global 5,000, even top Fortune 500, running Kong in production use cases that can go up to 1 million transactions per second. But most importantly, we have built a strong community that can support this project. We couldn't have done this without them, without you. 3 milestones that are very hard to achieve, but we have yet to reach our biggest one. This is why today, I would like to announce, together with you, here, our biggest milestone so far. Kong 1.0.
Kong 1.0, yes. How exciting. Yes. Labeling Kong as 1.0 for us is a way to show its maturity. Like, we want to label that Kong is, and has been already, and we are sure of it, production ready for mission-critical use cases. There were a few key features that we wanted to ship in 1.0 to make sure that Kong was future-proof. For us, these features were those that you can see now. So starting with a plugin development kit, a tool that helps developers write more robust and more efficient plugins for Kong. Nurturing the ecosystem, nurturing the creation of plugins from the community. Cloud-native integrations with the recent Zipkin and Prometheus plugins. And, of course, first-class support for Kubernetes with the Kubernetes Ingress Controller for Kong. Really important for us, too. Support for fine-grained deployment strategies with a separation of control and data plane for some of the most demanding deployment use cases. And a brand new migrations framework to support smoother upgrades from Kong 1.0 and beyond. We ship one more thing in Kong 1.0 that helps us execute on our vision of the service control platform. A key component for this platform, this vision that we have, and that's the Kong for Service Mesh.
What if the best API gateway can also be the best service mesh? Now you got it. You know, when the industry talks about service mesh, it's really pushing towards polarizing views of this space, of this world. Service mesh is a pattern. It's not a technology. It's a way for us, of many ways we have available, to build software and modern architectures. You know, we have been moving across different trends in the industry. We have been moving from monolith apps to mini services, like Gartner likes to call them, to microservices, to even serverless. And who knows what's going to happen next, 5 years from now. Each one of these trends are architectural patterns that we can use to build our software. And it's not one or another. It could be one and another. That's why, with the vision of the service control platform, we want to support each one of these major trends, including, obviously, service mesh, but also, as the industry keeps advancing, supporting every other trend in the industry. So Kong for service mesh. The same fast, lightweight runtime you have been running until now, internally or externally, in your environment, can also run in a service mesh deployment pattern. From north-south to east-west with one runtime. To enable security within your infrastructure. To enable resiliency. To observe as you're transitioning away from a place where you have just a few moving parts to a place where you have thousands of services, tens of thousands perhaps. A platform that allows you to observe all of that allows you to collect that information and understand, get the sense of your infrastructure. But most importantly, the same benefits that Kong as a runtime has already been providing until now, of course, Kong as a service mesh can also provide. And that's platform agnosticity, and most importantly, simplicity, ease of use, right? We don't want service mesh to become a service mess, right? And these are just the first steps of a bigger vision, of a bigger roadmap that we have. For example, Kong for service mesh, enabling this pattern, it's the first step for us to support emerging ecosystem like Istio and supporting technologies like Google RPC. Kong has this vision, a vision of a platform that is going to support these large ecosystems as they come up. We can do that thanks to our very lightweight runtime. So to recap, community, it's our DNA. It's you. You make Kong. It's all of us together that we have achieved come this far. Kong and Kong Enterprise, the new names, the new terminology, doubling down on Kong as a name. Whatever you're running Kong at the end of the day. And finally, Kong 1.0. After 3.5 years, we finally called it Kong 1.0. Today, there are going to be many sessions about industry, community, and service mesh. In particular, this afternoon, there's going to be a service mesh user talk upstairs. There is another room upstairs where James Callahan will explain how service mesh works with Kong, and we'll show you a live demo as well. So there is only one last thing now we have to do. And you know what it is? Download 1.0. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.